So I have a question for you. How long should a shot be? 4 seconds, 14 seconds, 14 frames? When it comes to video editing, this is seemingly the most simple question you could possibly ever ask, but the more I think about it, the more I realize just how infinitely complex it really is, to the point that it kind of makes my head hurt. It's possible that headache also has something to do with the, physical illness that you can probably infer from my voice at the moment, but I think it has more to do with the editing. Regardless, today I want to do a very deep dive on this seemingly very simple topic and hopefully make your head hurt a bit along the way as well. So let's jump on it. In a lot of cases, continuity is the clear deciding factor. You should just be cutting the clip such that it aligns with the motion and action of the shots around it. You don't want to cut away too soon and have a motion jump forward, and at the same time, you don't want to cut away too late and have that same motion lag behind. But long sequences are often cut down for style or pacing, which completely throws that continuity out the window. So what now? What other factors can we look at to decide how long each shot should be? One factor worth looking into is the shot complexity. So ideally, the length of a shot should be more or less proportional to the amount of detail within that shot. So the more information your viewer needs to get from that clip, the longer you should keep it on screen. If a shot is very complex but it's not on screen long enough, there's a good chance that the audience will fall behind and not be able to keep up with the edit. But at the same time, if a shot is very basic, but it's on the screen for too long, then the audience is going to get bored. It's kind of similar to Hitchcock's rule about composition, which basically just states that the size of an object in the frame should be proportional to its significance in the story. So a shot like this, that's a very wide composition, has a lot of different details and different parts to look at and kind of move your eye around the frame. I will leave that shot on screen for quite a long time so that you have time to take it in. Whereas shots like these that are very basic and you instantly know what you're looking at, those can be much, much shorter. It's also important to consider pacing, making sure that the length of your shots and the placement of your cuts have a natural flow throughout the edit. There are no concrete rules for pacing, it's just whatever feels right. So if a shot is too long or too short, then it could feel very jarring and abruptly take the viewer out of the story. This is the part of the process where you watch a cut over and over again and just move it like a frame or two at a time until it feels natural. Some of my techniques here include cutting on notable impacts and motions within the shot, like a foot hitting a ground or someone passing in front of the camera, and also making sure to cut clips such that they have a continuous motion or energy from one shot to the next. Now, that's a lot to think about, and you can probably feel your brain kind of buzzing around in your head by now, and I assure you it will get worse. But before that, I want to take a quick breather and let you know about the sponsor of today's video, which is of course ArtGrid. ArtGrid is a massive library of amazing stock footage shot by filmmakers all over the world, with new material added every single day. It's also really simple. They have one license that covers everything from personal use to commercial use, your client's use of footage, with no limitations on the number of views or the audience size that you can share that content with. Under that single license, they have 3 plans based on the quality of footage that you need to download. So for just $25 a month, you can download literally their entire library in HD. For $40 a month, you can download it in 4K and 8K, and for $50 a month, you can download it in log, and even a lot of the time raw. And at the time this video goes live, they're running a big sale, so you can actually get one of those plans for a good bit less. I use stock footage all the time in my own work, whether that's adding overlays and backgrounds to my existing footage, getting a shot that I would not have been able to achieve myself, or even just filling in a gap that I left out when I was shooting. And whenever I'm in one of those situations, ArtGrid comes in clutch. So thank you to the homies at ArtGrid for sponsoring this one. And if you want to try it out for yourself, there'll be a link in the description of this video, and you can sign up through that link and get an additional 2 months completely free. That being said, let's now move on and talk a bit about feeling and emotion, right? So different shot lengths can convey different feelings to an audience. For example, very fast cuts being used to add energy to a sequence, or very slow cuts being used to build suspense. A film with perfect continuity and pacing unfortunately still isn't worth too much if it conveys the complete wrong emotion to the audience. That also leads me into my final point, which is stylistic context. So when you're making any edit, you need to zoom out, look at that shot and that cut in the context of the entire edit. The edit that I've been using as an example here was supposed to convey ruggedness and discomfort, like hurling a list of ideas at you very quickly. So naturally, it's going to be cut a little quicker than I would normally edit to give off that feeling of urgency. But if I wanted instead to emphasize the calming sounds of nature, then I would cut that video much more slowly to make sure that the audience is relaxed and not overwhelmed. To reach even further out, if this project was a short horror film, then I would hold on shots much longer to create suspense. So we've covered continuity, we've talked about shot complexity and pacing and feeling and stylistic context, but here's the worst part, right? You have to zoom out and think about all of those. You have to carefully weigh the importance of each one, deciding which really matter and which don't. You may have to sacrifice the quality of your editing in one area to improve it in another, and you have to do all of that on every single cut you make. It's an impossible amount of work, and even if you did spend hours meticulously measuring and calculating, you could never possibly make an objectively correct call. So the good news is that you don't have to. Even experienced editors aren't literally going down the list and ticking off answers. They're cutting mostly based on instinct and how a shot feels. These questions are still informing their decisions, but it's not something you actively think about, but rather something you build a subconscious feeling for over years of practice. So learn these techniques, study them, practice them, deeply engrave them in the part of your subconscious brain that knows how to edit videos. But when it comes time to actually cut a shot, try not to think about them too much.